Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. So at the end of my 12th vlog day, I mentioned that I was going to do a quick Q&A video and well, this is it. So there's been lots of questions, lots of comments, lots of feedback, positive, negative, really interesting stuff that you guys have been leaving. So this video is to just go through a lot of the comments and the questions that have been asked. Hopefully it'll make me a better vlogger, so when the next trip comes along, which I'll mention later on, it'll be even better than the one we've just had. So let's get into it. The first question, how often do you go to Vegas? I tend to go every few months, a lot more recently post-pandemic than I did previously. So I started going to Vegas in 2012, and over the last probably 2-3 years, I've been going every 2 to 6 months. It just depends a lot on my timetable with my work, with my extracurricular activities, family, all sorts going on. So generally, I'd say average maybe 5 months, but sometimes it can be 6 months, sometimes it can be 2 months. But I try to go whenever I can. Next question is, when is your next trip? So I'm calling it a February trip. I'll get a little bit more into the details later on in this video, so you can hopefully follow along. But yes, it's going to be early 2025. That's my next trip. Next question, do I always fly from Gatwick? So no, I tend to fly from wherever is cheapest, wherever I can get a cheaper flight. I'm not loyal to any one particular airline like British Airways or Virgin Atlantic. If I've got points with Virgin Atlantic, I'll book a flight with Virgin Atlantic so I can get a discount on that flight. Same with British Airways. So generally, it's all about cost for me. If I can get to Vegas as cheap as possible, that's the best thing. Next question. What made you want to start vlogging? So I love Vegas, and much like pretty much all of you who are watching this, you love Vegas too. And I just want to share my experience and how I do Vegas, because I feel I do Vegas a bit differently than other people, and other people will do Vegas differently than me. So I think it's all about me showing you how I do Vegas. Also because I am a very creative mind. I like to always try and be creating something different, something new. So vlogging was something I always wanted to do. I just never got around to it because I was enjoying Vegas too much. But now as I've done vlogging for the first time, I really enjoyed it. And I think it's a creative output that I can do. I'm quite happy to do. Next question. Sorry, just looking at my notes here. Do you prefer Caesars, MGM or other properties? I think I mentioned it in the vlog series that MGM will always be my go-to brand of choice in Vegas, just mainly because I feel it offers better quality than Caesars properties. That doesn't mean to say that it offers better quality than the likes of Wynn or Venetian or even Fontainebleau. But for me, because I am a Pearl member, it's much easier for me to get those hotels MGM. So Bellagio, for example, I absolutely love Bellagio. It's one of my favourites in Vegas. So if I had to put in a tier list, MGM would be top, Caesars would be second, everyone else would be third. I'm sorry to all the people who love Resorts World and Wynn, Encore. But yes, MGM is my number one. Next question. What did you do with the microwave? So the microwave was a little thing that I'd never done before. I bought one for $40. It was great. It was a lot of fun. I even named him Mike. Mike Rowave. Yeah, sorry. It's silly. But what I did with him in the end, on the very last day, I packaged him all back up in the box I bought him in, and I just left him in the little room where the ice machine is in Bellagio. But I am thinking that somebody took him for their own use rather than housekeeping take it away. The reason I say that is because when I left to go in the elevators down to the lobby to get on my way to the airport, I heard a group of lads in the ice machine area going, "Oh yeah, brilliant, fantastic." And I'm assuming they took it and made themselves some microwave burgers or hot dogs like me. Someone also did mention in the comments I should have got microwave popcorn, and I don't know why I didn't think of that, but that was a brilliant idea, microwave popcorn. If I ever get a microwave again from Target, then yeah, I'll get some popcorn next time. Next question. Your spin amounts are so varied, which is cool to see, but is there a reason for the wildly different amounts? So the way I see gambling on slots, the philosophy of 50 cents versus $5 is, it's a good philosophy because you kind of use an average of $2.50, $3 there. So you're only doing effectively $2.50, $3 a spin if you're doing 50 cents, $5. So if you look at day 2, for example, when I got the hand pay, we got it on $15 spin, which is quite high, as opposed to what I was doing earlier, which was a 75-cent spin. So the average of those two is about $7.50 to $8, which is still a little bit on the high side. But I like to think that for every low bet, I can do a high bet. Sometimes maybe too high. I think 15 was a bit too high. And certainly the $20 spin that we did in Sam's Town, that was far too high as well. But either way, yes, they are wildly different. It can affect your standing with properties. I'm not sure how much, but I do tend to always try and counter things. So you'll find me doing low spins when I'm just there for, a bit of fun. Sometimes, and every gambler will do, it'll get a bit tilted and start doing bigger bets, hoping to try and recoup losses, all that kind of thing. And it pays off sometimes, but you shouldn't take it as a God-given right that you will win big if you bet bigger. Because, we've all seen people who win big on minimum bets. But yes, they are wildly different, but I always try and counter it. So that's my philosophy on that one. Next question is, how many times have you visited Vegas? So I've counted since the last vlog, and I have visited 18 times now. So the vlog that we've just had was my 18th time. And as I mentioned earlier, in the last couple of years, I have been visiting more and more regular. So that number is probably going to go up. Next year, I plan to go at least 3 times, but we'll soon see. It might be more, who knows. But yes, 18 times in total so far. Next question. Are you getting offered drinks while you play? Absolutely, yes, I am, all the time. It probably isn't evident in some of the vlogs, just because I don't think I showed myself with a drink, maybe once, I can't quite remember. Maybe that clip didn't make it in. I generally can't remember because I've not watched my vlogs back yet. But yes, I do get offered them regularly, and I tend to tip $5 every time the cocktail waitress comes around, just because I feel that's the sweet spot of them coming back around if I want another drink. Some people argue, you shouldn't tip, or some people would say, 5 is too little. To each their own. I don't knock people that say don't tip, and I don't knock people that say, tip $20, $30. Maybe not quite that much, but I find $5 is good. But yes, they came round quite often to offer a drink. I didn't always accept, but I did accept whenever I felt, alcohol can work in this situation. Next question. You mentioned how bad Luxor is now. How much worse is it than your first time? So my first time in Vegas, I stayed at Luxor. It was my very first hotel, and I have a bit of affection towards it for what it was. Unfortunately, that affection has now gone. Luxor in and of itself is a dump. It's over, it's had it. It was a bit funky back then in 2012, but it's just lost its way now. The casino floor's okay because they've had new carpet. Sure, you can put lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig. But the inclinators, the elevators in the tower rooms, the floors are just awful, just absolutely awful. I think I mentioned in the last vlog, number 12, that I would expect Luxor to be gone within the next decade or so. It's like MGM just doesn't care about the property anymore, which is sad. Next question. Will your wife be on any future vlogs? I'm not sure, to be honest. She's not as keen to be on camera as what I am. You'll generally find her in the background, so she'll do things like recording videos. She does a couple of voiceovers. She does a bit of editing. She'll put things together. She'll do research, things like that. She's more of the background of this channel, and I'm more of the presenter, if you will. But she may get the confidence to appear on a vlog at some point, and I think it'd be really, really good because she'll add a whole new dynamic. I tend to do Vegas solo trips more than family trips, So my next trip, again, is a solo trip. The one after will probably be solo as well, but I might do a family one with her next year. I can't tell you if she's got the confidence to be in that vlog, but, you know, I can only ask. So next question, do you plan your trips ahead of time or wing it? I don't really plan them. I just kind of get up and think, right, I'm doing this today, and I'll just go and do it. There are times when, you know, I have to arrange my day around something. Like, for example, if I go to see Penn and Teller, I've been sent to see them a few times. I love Penn and Teller. So obviously on that day, I've got to arrange myself around the event that is occurring. But generally, I'll just get up and go and do whatever I want. Next question is, does free play give you less wins? Now, there's a theory that free play and having your card inserted into the machine negatively affects you as a gambler. And, you know, the cynic in me would say, oh yeah, that's true. Because sometimes it really does seem like it's true. You know, you could be spinning away, you think, oh, I'm not winning anything. Take your card out, the very next spin you get a bonus. It seems suspicious, but, you know, officially, no, it doesn't affect it whatsoever, because every spin is independent of itself. But as I say, there's a lot of cynics out there, sometimes me included, that does think, that's a bit suspicious. But no, I don't think it really affects it, because I've had some good wins on free play in the past. Next question. Love seeing your game collection behind you also, which is that. What do you do for a living? So this is a strange one because I do a lot of different things. As I mentioned earlier, I'm a creative mind. So my professional job is in international supply chain. But I do work on other YouTube channels as well. I do content for them. I do video game development stuff as well for other websites. So I have a lot of different streams of income, which is how I can afford to go to Vegas so often at this point. But they say not to put all your eggs in one basket, which is what I'm doing. I'm diversifying, if you will. Really enjoyed this series. What is the name of the song featured when you're showing the Bellagio fountains? I love it. So it's a song called Stardust Dreams. It's a royalty-free song, excuse me, royalty-free, but I don't know where I got it from, I'll be honest. There's no copyright claim on it, so if you want to use it, please feel free to use it however you want. But yeah, there's no royalties on it. It's just one of those that I've collected over time, and I've just put it in there because it seemed quite fitting for Vegas and what was going on at the time. Generally, the music I use in my vlogs will be somewhat relevant to whatever's happening in the day. And a lot of the music, some of it is created by myself. I said I'm a creative mind. I love my music. And some is just royalty-free. Next question is that currency exchange near the Strip? So this is referring to day 11 where I went up to Circus Circus and went to change my dollars into British pounds. Yes, it's near the Strip. Opposite Resorts World is Convention Centre Drive. And if you head down there a couple of 100 yards, on the right is like a big silver square building. And if you go in there, the first office on the left is the currency exchange place. And I always go in there if I've got money to change back. Because it's nice in there, it's quick, it's easy to get to, always friendly, familiar faces whenever I go in there. I think it's going to start getting to the point where they do recognise me every time I come. I think the lady I went to see this time I think she might have thought, oh, I've seen him before, I'm sure I recognise him. Because yes, I literally every trip in the past couple of times I've been into there to change some money back. But yeah, it's not far from the Strip, and I would recommend going to it if you ever need to change money back in Vegas. Next question. How do you feel about the end of Tropicana? It's sad, I'll be honest, but I was never emotionally attached to Tropicana. Towards the end, it became a very sad place, a bit of a, outcast. I was there on the final evening back in April, and it was really sad to see because half the casino was already turned off, and it had been turned off for days. I think probably right at the end of March when I went into Tropicana on that trip, half the machines were already off. And on the night of the closure, if someone was on a machine, as soon as they left, a slot technician went over, did all his bits, and then disabled it. So they were doing it one by one. There was no extravaganza, no huge hurrah to say goodbye to Trop. But like I say, I wasn't emotionally attached to it. But I don't want to see that land just left desolate after its implosion next month. I want to see something built there, even if it is the A's come in, they build a stadium, they finally do. There's a lot of skeptics in that saying, oh, it's not going to happen. I mean, I'm not bothered if it does or if it doesn't, as long as something gets built there. I don't want a big wasteland to be in Vegas forever like that. So that's the end of the general questions. I kind of grouped some of the questions together because there were more questions than that, but they all kind of fell under other questions. So let's go through some of the comments. Some of these positive, some are negative, some are good feedback, all that kind of thing. So you are definitely winning better wins and bonuses on the $4 and $5 bets, which I think you are better off doing that content rather than all the mini bets. Yes, that is true. I mean, like a $5 Huff N More Puff, whatever, is better than a 75-cent Huff N More Puff. But if you're doing it on 10-cent denomination, yeah, you're going to get better wins. But sometimes I like to keep myself in check. You can't sit there doing $4 or $5 bets all night long because you'll be down thousands in the end. So keep yourself in check by doing the lower bets every now and again. It's meant to be fun. It's meant to be enjoyable. So always keep that in mind when you're gambling. You can ask Cosmo for a microwave and they will bring one up to you. I'm not sure if they still do since the MGM takeover, but they used to. To be honest, I didn't know that. I didn't know you could go and ask for a microwave. I knew you could do it for like a mini refrigerator. In most hotels you can, and sometimes they will charge. But my philosophy was if they did want to charge or anything like that, I only paid $40 plus tax for the microwave, and it meant I could take it with me for the entire trip going into Planet Hollywood and Bellagio. So even if they charged me a couple of dollars a day for a microwave in every hotel, I think I still got a better deal doing that. And at least I got to give it to somebody else in the end, whoever it was that took it. So Mike is well on his journey now. Hopefully he's been passed around many, many times. Great first vlog, but defo needs to be more of you going and doing things rather than just random montages of hotels and walkways. I think I went to a good few places on this trip and saw things that a lot of vloggers, definitely British vloggers, may not show all the time. Like, for example, going to M Resort. I love M Resort. It's a lovely hotel, absolutely fantastic. Going to Sam's Town. A lot of British vloggers don't tend to hire a car. They don't get a car rental like I do every time. So they don't get to see these things like over in Summerlin. Maybe once every now and again that they'll take the trip, but I always get a car rental so as I can go to all these different places and see these different things. But yes, feedback taken on board. I will certainly try and show more different things rather than just walking around too much. Good video. It's scary how much everyone is losing on the slots. It sure is. The minimums are going up and up and up. You look at the Huff N More Puff, the minimum on that is $1. Gone are the days where you used to be able to play 30 cents and, still have a lot of fun and good wins. A 30-cent spin on something like Quick Hit now gets you, it's just not worth it. So the minimums are going up, but because the minimums are going up, so are the maximums. So people are losing a lot more. It all comes down to keeping yourself in check. Like I say, I like to always try and keep myself in check so as I don't go overboard with the bets. But yeah, it is scary just how many are losing. You took a big risk with a $15 spin and it paid off. So this is in relation to the hand pay on day 2, and absolutely it was a big risk. It's a risk I probably shouldn't have taken, but if I hadn't have taken it, I wouldn't have won the 2,300 whatever it was that I won. That was just absolutely mind-blowing to happen on day 2. I think I mentioned it in the vlog that I've never had a hand pay so early in the trip, so it was nice to get that. Risks and opportunities, R&O, you'll find that a lot in business. Sometimes the risks far outweigh the opportunity, and I think a lot of the time in gambling, the risk does outweigh the opportunity. But luckily for me, it paid off this time. Somebody said, you've got to do higher bets, man. I see this a lot with people, and I think it really separates those who are in Vegas for fun and entertainment versus those who think they can make a lot of money real quick. Nobody has to do higher bets ever. You could be the richest man in the world. You could be Elon Musk and sit doing 75-cent spins on Huff N More Puff. You never have to do more. I think it's a bad philosophy to think you've got to do more. But that's what the casinos want you to do. That's what these slot developers want you to do. They want you to bet more. But no, I don't think I have to do more. I'm in it for the entertainment. I like to just sit there, play, get a drink. And like when my wife is there, we can sit there for hours on different machines and only go through 100 because we're having a laugh, we're having a joke, we're having drinks, and it's all good fun. So as long as you take Vegas for being fun, you never have to do higher bets. So this person says, I made it this far, but unfortunately your constant use of "if I'm honest" has made me switch off. Why would you even need to say that? Are you normally dishonest? It's a shame because your content is decent. This comment threw me off a little bit, so I appreciate the feedback here. And I think it's always fair to include negative as well as positive, because you can't just make a channel look positive all the time. You've got to be honest. And this is a prime example of how am I dishonest? So the phrase "if I'm honest" is a very common phrase. That's what threw me off. And I think somebody in the replies actually said it's a common phrase. What are you talking about? And it is true. So why it would imply that somebody is usually dishonest is a bit strange. But saying that, I did notice that I do say "if I'm honest" quite a bit, because my wife pointed it out to me. And every time I say it now, I'm very conscious that I've said it. So yes, that's taken on board. But you'll find different people say different things, and it works for them. For example, the big jackpot, his little thing is boom, boom, boom. Some people really don't like that. Some people are irritated by it. So the phrase of, "if I'm honest" has irritated this person, which is perfectly fine. It's normal. It's normal human nature to be that way. But I will try and stop saying these things. I've noticed other things I say as well, and you may have noticed them in this video. I may have said them that I haven't picked up on. But please let me know if I say things regularly which annoy you or that you think would annoy people, because I'm always keen to see. Next comment is, make sure you show yourself to the camera. So I agree, but I always sit at the end of every vlog and have a good talk, and obviously I'm showing myself to the camera now. I'll talk a little bit more about this in a couple of minutes, but you'll also notice some of the thumbnails now have my mug on it, because generally that tends to work for YouTube. So this channel is getting bigger and bigger by the day, and it's time I put a little bit more effort into what I'm doing here. But in terms of the vlogs, yes, I think it's a good idea to maybe show myself a little bit more. A good example of this that I've come up with is in the mornings, whenever I do the morning talk, I say, "Good morning everyone, welcome back to the vlog." If I have that facing me sometimes, rather than just wherever I'm walking to, I think it adds a bit more personality to it and makes people feel a bit more connected to that person in the video. So I'll probably start doing that a little bit more. But all of this, all these comments are all good feedback, whether they are positive or negative, because they help me become better. So that is the end of all the comments and the questions. I think the next thing to talk about is what I would love to see from whoever watches this. I don't know how many people are going to watch this. I don't know how many people are ever going to see this or sit the whole way through. But please leave comments, suggestions, everything about what you'd love to see me do, how I can be better, because my passion is creativeness and I love creating things, always taking things on board, learning from that experience and becoming better. So if you've got anything to say, please let me know in the comments. No comment is a bad comment, whether you think it's positive or negative. So let's talk about my next trip. The next trip is already booked. My flight is booked for the very end of January into February. So I'm calling it a February trip because the first vlog you see will be in February. I have the car rental booked as well, but I don't have the hotels booked yet. I don't quite know what I'm going to do. I might just stay at one place because it is only going to be a short trip, around a week. Generally, when it comes to longer trips, I will stay in different hotels. Shorter trips, I'll probably just stay in one for convenience. But yes, February is when you'll see my next trip. The content on this channel, between now and then, every week or so, you'll probably see videos by me, whether it's like a little room tour, a walk down somewhere or through somewhere. I like to kind of keep things active, if that makes sense. I like to show Vegas constantly. I also like to, weirdly enough, watch some of my old videos. And if you do want to watch some of my older videos, then, go and have a look. But it'd be good to see how you think my content has evolved since first starting this channel in 2023. So hopefully you'll be more than happy to watch some of these walkthroughs and room tours. And yes, I do kind of narrate, so it is a bit vlog style, I guess. But yeah, we'll see how that content goes. Hopefully, though, you will stick around for the next vlog series, which, what are we in now? So we're at the end of September, so we're just over 4 months until the next one, which is about average for me, like I said, every 2 to 6 months. Hopefully you'll stick around to watch those weekly videos, everything else. Just check my notes, make sure I've covered everything off. But if not, hopefully I will see you in the next vlog series. But please like, comment, subscribe. Those of you who have recently subscribed since the vlog came out, thank you so much. You have absolutely made me feel more than welcome in your life. And it's just great to see how many people have enjoyed how I do Vegas and how I want to show you how I do Vegas. So yeah, I'm so glad you enjoyed it, and hopefully I will see you all in the next one.